Good morning, students. Today we are starting our RMO series. In this series, we are going to discuss all the problems which were asked in RMO papers and solution and related concepts. So now see, these are four problems. This is asked in RMO 2001. Second one is for RMO 2002. Similarly, third RMO 2003 and fourth is RMO 2006. All the problems are from number system. So let's start solving first problem without wasting a time. Your first problem is prove that the product of first 200 positive even integers differ from the product of first 200 odd positive integers by a multiple of 401. What we have to do? Means we have to find product of first 200 positive even integers. Let P equal to product of first 200 positive even integers, means 2 into 4 into 6 into 8 and so on, and our last term will be 400. 398 398 and then 400, and Q is 1 3 5 7 up to so on. Last term is 399. Now we have to find product of P minus Q. The value of P minus Q, it should be some multiple of 401. So first of all, we should have the concept of remainder theorem. For solving this problem, we need a concept of remainder theorem. What is remainder theorem? Means suppose a polynomial x square minus 5x plus 6. Is it divisible by x plus 2 or x minus 2? It is divisible by x minus 2 or not. So what you do? Put x minus 2 equal to 0, x is equal to 2. Now put x equal to 2 here. So 4 minus 5 into 2, 10 plus 6. We are getting 0. If by taking x minus 2 equal to 0, we get x equal to 2, and this x equal to 2 is satisfying it equal to 0. It means this polynomial x square minus 5x plus 6 is divisible by x minus 2. Any particular term is factor of any polynomial. So in this way we can find out. Suppose x square minus 6x. Suppose this is a problem x square minus 6x. So x is factor of this or not. So you put x equal to 0. You will get x equal to 0. So here 0 minus 6 into 0, it's 0. Means x is the factor of x square minus 6x. In this way, we could find out whether any particular term is factor of a polynomial or not. Now second step, I think you should know this. Second step is let 401 is equal to x. Let's consider 401 equal to x. So now 400 equal to x minus 1. 398 equal to x minus 2. 397 equal to x minus 3 and so on. Now come to P minus Q. Your P minus Q, P means 2 into 4 into 6 up to 400. We can write, for this 400 we could write x minus 1. 398, it's x minus 398 is, you can say, x minus 3, or 396 you find out 396 is x minus 5. So it is x minus 1, x minus 3, x minus 5 and so on. this 2 can be written as x minus this 400, this 2 can be written as x minus this 399. This is the value of p, or minus q. Q means 1 into 3 into 5, 1 into 3 into 5 into 7 up to 399. Now this one is a polynomial. This entire thing a polynomial, and we have to find whether x is the factor of this polynomial or not. So to check factor, put x equal to 0. We get 1 into 3 into 5 into 399. Since there are 200 terms, so all minus sign will be covered. Minus 1 into 3 into 5 up to 399. This is 0. By putting x equal to 0, we get the value of polynomial is 0. That's why we can say that x is the factor of this polynomial. Means x is factor of p minus q. And what is x? X is 401. We can say that 401 is factor of p minus q. I think this problem may be clear to all of us. Now we come to the second problem. Here a, b, c, e, b positive integer such that, second problem is a, b, c, b a positive integer such that a divides b square, b divides c square, and c divides a square. Then we have to prove ABC divides a plus b plus c whole to the power 7. This problem was asked in RMO 2002. How can we solve this problem? So in this second problem, first of all, we should know the general term of the expansion of a plus b plus c power n, and this general term is n factorial divided by alpha factorial, beta factorial, and gamma factorial. A power alpha, b power beta, and c power gamma, where alpha, beta, gamma should be positive integers. Alpha, beta, gamma belongs to positive integers or 0. Alpha, beta, gamma can be positive integers or 0, and alpha plus beta plus gamma should be equal to n. Means we can take different values of alpha, beta, and gamma which are positive integer or 0, and their summation is equal to n, and we put here in this general term. We can get different terms of the expansion. In the same idea, just find the general term of a plus b plus c power 7. Your general term is factorial 7 divided by factorial alpha, factorial beta, factorial gamma, a power alpha, b power beta, and c power gamma. Your alpha plus beta plus gamma should be 7 and should belong to positive integer or 0. So now there may be some terms where none of the alpha, beta, gamma is 0. In any term, if alpha not 0, beta not 0, and gamma not 0, then this term is multiple of ABC. Then the term is multiple of A into B into C. Okay, suppose alpha equal to 1, beta equal to 2, and gamma equal to 4. Example, alpha equal to 1, beta equal to 2, gamma equal to 4. Their summation is 7, 1 plus 2 3, 3 plus 4 7. So your term is factorial 7 divided by factorial 1, factorial 2 and factorial 4, and a power 1, b power 2, c power 4. This is divisible by ABC. So all the terms where none of the alpha, beta and gamma is 0, they will be divisible by ABC. Now we come to those terms where either alpha 0 or beta 0 or gamma 0 or two of them 0. So if alpha 0 and beta 0 and gamma not 0, then your term will be gamma not 0 means your gamma will be 7. Your term will be factorial 7 by factorial 0 and factorial 7, a power 0, b power 0 and c power 7. So your factorial 7 cancel. This c power 7 can be written, in our question it is given that c divides a square. Your question it is given c divides a square, means another thing, this a divides b square and b divides c square. So by this c square can be written lambda into b divides c square equal to lambda into b. Okay, and a divides b square means you can say b square equal to this b square equal to mu into a, because a divides b square. Again from this step, this b can be written as c square by lambda. B can be written as c square by lambda. One more thing, c divides a square. You can say c divides a square means you can say c equal to lambda, this nu into c, k into c equal to a square. K into c equal to a square. So do one thing, here it's a c power 7. C power 7 can be written as this c square into c power 5, c square into c power 4. C square we can write as a lambda b, and this c we can write as a c square equal to lambda b. C you write as c. Again it's a c4, it's a c square square. So lambda b into c, or again lambda b whole square. Again lambda b into c into lambda square b square, and b square you can write as a mu a. So lambda b, here lambda b into c into lambda square, and b square can be written as mu a. So your answer will be lambda mu lambda into lambda square into lambda cube into mu ABC. So it is divisible by ABC. So just we did c power 7 is divisible by ABC. In the similar way we can solve if alpha equal to 7 and beta equal to 0 and gamma equal to 0. Your term will be a power 7. This also can be solved by the same manner. If alpha 0, beta equal to 7 and gamma 0, this also can be, this term is now b power 7. This also can be solved by the similar way. Similar manner, we can solve a power 7 and b power 7 are also divisible by ABC. Just we did that c power 7 is divisible by ABC. In the same manner, we can do that a power 7 and b power 7 will also be divisible by ABC. Now come to the third case. If now come to the third case, in which case where only one term is 0 and two are non-zero. If alpha equal to 0 and beta not 0 and gamma not 0. So we can say that alpha not equal to 0 and beta not 0 and gamma not 0. What can we do here? Your term will be factorial 7 divided by factorial 0 and factorial beta, factorial gamma, a power 0, b power beta and c power gamma. One thing is that at least one of them b square or b or c means beta or gamma will be more than 2. Either beta is more than 2 or gamma is more than 2. Basically beta plus gamma equal to 7. Here beta plus gamma equal to 7. So for this problem, just we see here this c is divisible by a divides b square and b divides c square. Here a divides b square. So your b square can be written as lambda into a. B square can be written as lambda into a and c square can be written as mu into b. C square can be written as mu into b. So you multiply them, b square into c square equal to lambda into mu into ab. B square into c square equal to lambda into mu into ab. And we put here the value of b square into c square. Sometimes it is possible, means we can introduce here a. By using this result, we can introduce here a, and this will be multiple of ABC. Now come to the third problem. I think this may be clear to all of us. At least one of them, b will be b square. If b is b square, so b square can be written as lambda a. And then if b is b square, so c will be more than 4. More than 4, then 1 c square can be written as mu b. So in this way, ABC can be introduced in this step. And similar, when beta equal to 0, alpha and gamma not 0, that also can be given in the same manner. Gamma equal to 0, alpha and beta not 0, that also can be written in the same manner. Now come to the third problem. We are going to solve this third problem. Your third problem is that let consider the set x 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 10. Find two disjoint non-empty subsets of A and B of x such that A union B equal to x. And product of A is divisible by product of B. Product is already defined. Product of C means product of all the elements of set C. Means product C means product A means set all the product of all the elements of set A. Product B means product of all the elements of set B. One more thing is that the quotient of product A by product B is as small as possible. Most important thing is that the quotient of product A and product B should be as small as it is possible. What can we do here? Come to the steps. Basically we see the prime numbers, prime factors. So here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We need quotient minimum. So for quotient minimum, to one side we will have 5, then other side it should be 10. Once, so that 5 and 10 can be cancelled. Again think here 3, and again next 3 we can hit. One side there will be 3 and 6, and one side there will be 9. 3 and 6 one side, and 9 in another side. 3 and 6 one side, and 9 another side. So that 2, 3, 3 and 6, 3 of 6 can cancel 9. One more thing is that 8 one side, or 2 and 4 should be another side. So 2 and 4 one side, or 8 another side. Now come to the, I think we consider 9, 6, 3. We consider 2, 4, 8. We consider 10 and 5. Now we have to see the number 1 and 7. 1 can be anywhere, and 7 will be on numerator. So we see that 6 into 3, 5 into 2, 10 cancel. Here 6 into 3, 18, 18 into 4, 72, and 72 cancel. So 7 should be on numerator side. So your product A by product B will be 1, 5, 3, 6, 2, 4. 1 into 5 into 3 into 6 into 2 into 4 into 1 into 7. 7 should be on numerator. And product B can be 10, 9 and 8. 10 into 9 into 8. And this result will be 7. In this way, we can define set A and set B. Now come to the fourth problem. This is also asked in RMO 2006. What is this problem? Find the least possible value of A plus B, where A and B are positive integers, such that 11 divides A plus 13B and 13 divides A plus 11B. What can we do here? Here we have to find the minimum value of A plus B. A and B are positive integers. So 11 divides A plus 13B. You write here A plus 13B equal to 11K1 and A plus 11B equal to 13K2. Come further. You transfer 11B on right side. Means A plus 2B equal to 11K1 minus 11B. And from here transfer 11B on this side. So we can have not 11B, you subtract 13B on both sides. So we can get A minus 13B. 13B you transfer here, the A minus 2B. Because here it is 11B, we transferred 13B. So A minus 2B equal to 13K2 minus 13B. Means you can say we subtracted 13B from both sides. So here we have A plus 2B equal to 11 common. So K1 minus B you can say M. A plus 2B equal to M. And A minus 2B equal to A plus 2B is 11M. Or A minus 2B equal to 13N. Now do one thing. First you add both of them or then subtract. First you add both of them. So you get 2A equal to 11M plus 13n. Subtract both of them. We get here, add both of them and subtract both of them. Now subtract both of them. So we get here 4b equal to 11m minus 13n. 11m minus 13n. Now 11m minus 13n should be multiple of 4, and 11m plus 13n should be multiple of 2. So one thing is that 11m and 13n, so either both numbers should be even or both numbers should be odd, so that even plus even can be get multiple of 2 and odd plus odd is multiple of 2. Here 11m minus 13n multiple of 4. You write the table of 11 and table of 13. Table of 11 is 11, 22, 33, 44, 55. This is the table of 11. And table of 13 we write here. So 13, 26, 39. So just we see multiple of 4. We have not to go very far. See, 11m should be more and 13n should be less. So come to here, 22 minus 13 not possible. 33 minus 13. 33 minus 13 we are getting 20. So do here 33 minus 13 means your 11m is 33. A 13m can be 13. 11m equal to 33 and 13m can be 13 means you just put m is equal to 3 and n is equal to 1. M equal to 3 or n is equal to n means 4b is equal to 20. We get b is equal to 5. 4b equal to 20 means 33 minus 13, 20. So b equal to 5. Come to the first equation. Put m equal to 3 and n equal to 1. So 2a equal to 11 into 3 plus 13 into 1 means 11 into 3, 33 plus 13. What it be? 3 or 3, 6, 46. So your a equal to 23. So now we get a equal to 23 and b equal to 5. Now minimum value of a plus 5. We took value of m and n minimum so that we can get a minimum. So minimum value of a plus b, this is equal to 23 plus 5, this is now 28. So okay, now we are binding today's class, today's video lecture, just this place. If you feel good, please like our channel, and any problem or whatever you are feeling, please do the comments and try to subscribe my channel so that we can give you good informations, more and more problems of related to RMO, INMO and IMO. Okay, thank you.